Previously, Kimberly revealed that her father was unfaithful. He abandoned her and her mom for another woman when she was 5 years old.
He just left and never came back. I mean, no goodbye, no nothing, just literally.
Never came back?
Never came back. Walked out the door and I didn't see him again for something like 17 years.
How old were you when he left?
5.
5 years old.
5 years old. Almost 6, 5.
So it was heartbreaking for you?
It was really traumatic.
Right now, you will find out why Kimberly described her home as a living hell.
You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But you need to know the truth in order to be free. We are showing the story of Miss Kimberly. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. One more day, she's going to uncover her story. She's going to open the book because many are those who are in suffering. And if a person does not open the book and say to God, God, this is who I am, this is what I'm facing, life will never change, right?
That's exactly right.
So, you were saying to us in the previous show that your mother tried to rebuild the family, she married again, but she brought home more problems.
Yes, more problems. And the house became an absolute living hell. There's no other word for it than absolute living hell. There's no other way to describe it. Everyone was fighting. It got to the point where my stepfather and my mom were fighting. He was fighting with us. It was abusive. It was over the top, screaming, yelling. What I learned growing up was that I don't matter, I'm not worth anything, that I was a problem. I felt like I had absolutely no worth as a human being. I just wanted to, I don't know, I hated both of them. And I mean, a hate that was a living thing inside of me. I hated them. I mean, I hated every moment of my life growing up. It was terrible, it was a living hell. And I couldn't decide if I wanted to kill him or kill myself. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to do.
He was abusive toward your mother or the whole family?
Mostly, honestly, towards me. I just became the focus of it for some reason.
Why?
Because I wouldn't give in to him. I refused to give in. I refused to be dominated. I think that what my father taught me when I was little, to be strong, to stand up for myself, all that just hit the wrong way with him. He wanted somebody he could walk on. He wanted somebody he could be emotionally abusive to, and I just was not having it. And so I never talked back to him. I was never one of those children who was, saying bad things to their parents. I never did anything like that, never. But I also was not going to take abuse and just accept it. I wasn't going to do that. And so we clashed terribly.
So you lost your biological father at the age of 5, and you did not have a man figure in the house. Your mother was doing everything for the family. Now, she married this man who was abusive, and the house became a living hell.
Yes.
How was your teenagerhood?
My teenage years were really bad. That's what I started to really, I learned that no matter what I did, whether I did what I thought was right or whether I did what I thought was wrong, I was still going to get beaten with a belt. I was still going to get screamed at. I was still going to get emotionally abused. So I decided, okay, if I'm going to get it anyway, I'm going to do what I want to do. And a teenager who decides to do whatever they want to do with no holds barred, that's a very bad way to grow up. It's a very bad way to go through your teenage years because you are rebellious. I was terribly rebellious. I gave them a really hard time. I was a terrible teenager. So
we have seen many people that are suffering. They grew up like you, and they become so violent, aggressive. This ministry, we go to prison to visit people, and all that we see there are people that came from a broken home. Because you had a desire to kill both of them.
Yes, I did.
Any plans or any thoughts?
I remember in my English, this is a long time ago, but this memory struck me. I remember in my English class, I had been expelled repeatedly from school, and I had to write something for English class, and I wrote about how much I hated them. That's what I wrote about. And it freaked out my school. My school they couldn't believe that was coming out of me, because I was normally so, I don't know, not like that. I was not that kind of person, so they knew something was going on at home, but no one ever did anything about it. Mm-hmm. And I was expelled repeatedly. I started drinking heavily because I just couldn't take it. I started to drink just honestly to drown out the pain. I couldn't take it anymore. It was terrible. So I started drinking. Even in high school, I was drinking. I was drinking at home. I was hiding it from my parents, drinking at home. They didn't drink, but
sorry to interrupt you. I have this video of this family that is fighting. I want you to watch this video because some people like yours are facing the same problem. And I want you to see this video and see if this is what was happening back then in your house. Let us watch this.
Family, the base of every society, every country, every city. It is with our family we learn how to cope with problems effectively or ineffectively. We search for emotional support, and we quickly learn behavioral patterns that shapes our individuality. Constant arguments, fights, is one of the many behavioral patterns that develop due to the lack of trust, pride, and insecurities.
You don't tell me anything! You're not the man that I married.
Time and time again, you became physically abusive.
Well, is this what you want? David! Tell me, because I get sick and tired of this!
To avoid further arguments, you bury your pain. It's been years since you've been hurt, but you just can't forgive. To find relief, you've turned to drugs. There is no peace in this home. The holidays are the only days you get along. But when you are in public, together, you pretend as if all is well.
And then?
That video reminded me of the pretending. Our family did a lot of pretending that everything was perfectly fine. And I think that was one of the things that made me the angriest, is outside the house, it was a perfect facade that everything was perfectly fine. And inside the house was another story. I'll never forget that.
Tomorrow again, we are going to be back here with Miss Kimberly Garcia. Maybe this is you. You pretend everything's okay, you pretend you are a happy wife, a happy husband, but behind closed doors, you know that it's a different scenario, it's a different story. But God can change your life. Let us just uncover the truth and be real to Him. If right now you ask for help, He's going to help you on that. Just say, Lord, this is my family. Even perhaps you are inside of a church. You are a pastor. You are a deacon. You serve in the church. You are a church officer. But look at you. The reality is you became a pretender, like an actor. On the stage, you perform a happy life. But the reality is not that good. Tomorrow again, naked truth.
Tomorrow, follow Kimberly's story as she continues to tell you all about how her family pretended to be well despite their painful reality. Tomorrow,